Hello everyone. Today I want to talk to you about how to taste wine. It really isn't that complicated. I'm going to go through a few steps that help you kind of, for your own sake, figure out what it is that you like or dislike about a particular wine. They often are referred to as the 5 S's of wine appreciation. Now right here, today we're using the Vintner's Reserve, the 2015 vintage, which is a blend of our Marquette and Petite Pearl. But I should note that with these different steps that we go through, white wines, there are little different things to look for versus red wines, but I'll try to cover both with this particular wine. So the first S is sight. So with sight, you're looking for both color and clarity. So if you're at home and you pour yourself a little glass of wine, see if you can find a white background to put the wine against and look through the top of the wine to see if there's clarity to the wine. Now that's particularly important for white wines. You want clarity. You don't really want color in your white wine unless it's maybe a Chardonnay that's been aged in oak. Your Sauvignon Blancs, your Rieslings, our La Crescents, there you want clarity and not much color. Now with reds, you can tell a lot about the color of the wine just by observing it. Now if you see a brighter reddish hue, you know it's a younger, vibrant wine. If you see around the ridge of the wine a brownish, brickish hue, that's a sign of some oxidation, and a little bit is okay, especially if you want a well-rounded, sort of mature expression to the wine. But if you're looking for a fresh expression, you want sort of a bright red or bright purple hue to your wine. Now when you get to the second S of swirling, people think this is sort of the snooty thing to do, but you actually see a lot of judges do this, and there's a good reason for that. Number one, you can kind of get a sense of the body of the wine just through observing the way the wine cascades down the inner walls of the glass. If you see a lot of streamlets of liquid coming down the inner wall of the glass, you know you have a high alcohol, high body wine. So that's going to give you an indication of what to experience. But the second reason you want to swirl that wine is to start preparing for the third S, which is going to be smell. Now by swirling that wine, there's enough irregularity in that glass that the aromatics of the wine are going to be released. Now this is very, very important, because when we get to this third S of smell, that is really kind of what gives you that impression of the wine that you're going to remember for a long, long time. Because in the end, 80% of what you experience as taste is really coming from your sense of smell. So that's why it's so important to swirl that wine, and you see judges do it all the time when they're evaluating wines. So just give it a little swirl, it doesn't have to be anything dramatic, and then you're ready for the third S of smell. There you need to put your nose in the glass, take several short breaths or one larger breath, and you'll all experience the different aromatics start to come to life. Now this is particularly important in the white wines. Reds, it's more of the finish that you're looking for your evaluation. Whites, it's that upfront initial response that you get when you put the glass to your nose. So in this particular wine, you know, everyone's different. There's no wrong or right answers, but I get more of a cherry, a plum, maybe a pepper note. So this is just all about practice. There are no wrong or right answers to this. So this is a real critical step, again, particularly for white wines. Then you move to the fourth S of sip. It's a bit ironic. We talked about how to taste wine, and it's not to the fourth S that we actually taste the wine. But this is where you really try to figure out the flavors of the wine. You may not be able to hear it, but I'm actually trying to draw some air through my teeth, over my palate, to release more of the aromatics up into my nasal cavity. Because again, if you're smelling the wine, you're getting a true expression of the taste of the wine. And also it helps to kind of coat all of your taste buds with that wine so you get a true expression of it. And I would also suggest, if you're sampling many different wines at one time, wait to the second sip of that particular wine to come up with your evaluation as to why you like or don't like that wine. Because your palate has to get accustomed to the tannins and alcohol, and the previous wine has a residue that impacts the expression on your palate. So use that second sip for your true evaluation. So when you're sipping this wine, you want to notice that initial flavor expression as it hits your tongue. Then you think about what is the body or the weight of the wine. Some people refer to this as the mid palate of the wine expression. It can be akin to sort of saying, does it feel in your mouth sort of like skim milk or whole milk? When you swallow, do you get sort of abrasive feeling to your tongue? That's a sign of tannin. It's the same expression that you get when you're drinking tea. Some people like a touch of tannin in their wine. Others are averse to it. So this sipping sensation is really trying to kind of pull together the elements of the initial expression, the mid palate, and when you get to the finish, this is going to be what we refer to as the final S of savor. And what we mean by that is, what are the lingering impressions that you get from that wine? Are there notes of, say, chocolate or coffee or oak flavors that are left on your palate? This is particularly important for red wines. It's something that many people look for in a red wine, is that finish on the palate. That's really kind of what the thing is that you really want to experience in really good red wines. So in the end, these are just different steps you can take to sort of evaluate the wine. Now, I certainly don't do this with every wine, but if I want to evaluate a wine and determine why it is that I like or dislike it, this is a way to kind of step yourself through it and think about it and converse with your friends about what particular aspects of the wine that you like. So it's not something to be intimidated by. It's just sort of a guide to help you through your own evaluation and help you in the future pick those wines that you're going to be more likely to enjoy. Because maybe you notice that it's the aromatics that appeal to you, or it's the finish that appeals to you, or the combination of those two. That will help guide your future choices and create great memories and give you a full experience of the wine. That's the real critical thing about wine, is to give yourself an experience, to create a memory, to share it with other people. So I hope that you enjoyed the different steps that we've taken here today on how to taste wine, and I look forward to talking to you again about this in the future. Cheers.